Mr. Fleming, please conduct roll call. John Woodland here. Ivy Hickfather.
Here.
Eddie Tilges.
Here.
Paul Watson.
Here.
Wayne Red.
Here.
You have a quorum, sir. Thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is that we need to adopt the agenda. Now, I will advise council, this is not the, you cannot add things to the agenda at this point. This is adopting the format of the agenda. So, go ahead, Paul.
Okay, I just want to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Watson to adopt the agenda. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Brandt. All those in favor, please raise your hand. The agenda is adopted. We need to approve and ratify bills received for the previous month.
Any question on the Downing sales and service? It says supplies, it's $2,956.
Which one's that for?
That's the page 3, Downing sales and service. Not familiar with anything.
$2,956.
Yeah.
That is the down in sales. Not sure if what the year I just get the invoice and just tell you supplies and make that portion.
Is that the, that might be the backhoe thing?
It should be. And these are an aggregate of the numbers, not just one particular purchase. Is there any other discussion on the bills?
I got a question.
Sure.
I noticed on here we've got a charge for 01 call. I thought, if they're on TV, that's free. I didn't know the charge does.
We have to pay a fee for it. So much a year.
Oh, this is a yearly charge?
Yes.
It's not every time you call.
No. If there's no further questions, at this point we'll close the discussion of the bills. At this point, we need a motion to approve or disapprove the bills as received.
I would like to make a motion to approve and ratify the bills received.
We have a motion to approve from Councilman Tildes. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Brandt. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Passes 4-0. The motion, excuse me, the next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to pass them.
We have a motion from Councilman Brandt to approve and ratify the minutes. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
We have a second from Councilman Tildes. All those in favor, please raise your hand. This passes 4-0. Did you, any opposed? Any opposed? Okay, this does pass 3-1. Unfinished business. We were scheduled to have our second reading of the TNR bill. At this point, Mr. Stumpy has some advice for the council, specifically on this issue. So, Mr. Stumpy, the floor is yours.
Reviewing the ordinance that's been proposed, I don't have any problem with how it reads or what it says there. The only question that I have is if the city moves to this method of catch and release and neuter of the cats, it's currently on the books of the ordinances. One that is a 5-day-old until a dog is euthanized, and the cat as well. If the city goes to this method, and they trap a cat, the cat has been sterilized, vaccinated for rabies. If 2 years from now, it does contract rabies, and does scratch someone, is there any liability the city can have for that? There are several cities that are engaged in this right now. There's been no specific cases to look to on the liability of those things, but there was a case in Waynesville recently where an animal shelter owned a dog. The dog ended up dying of a young child there. The dog owner took it back to a different shelter. The dog was then rehomed again. It attacked another small child. And the city was engaged in a lawsuit with that dog. That being the case, I think there's some precedence for potential liability that the city could have under these scenarios. Again, several cities have them. I'm not opposed to the ordinance. I think it's a good idea to try and lower and limit the operation of feral cats. But the only question I have for the cities to consider the potential liability risk they may face with this.
Now, would it be advisable at this point to send this to committee for review of potential liability?
I think it's a pretty long discussion to have. It would be a good idea to think to have a committee for that situation, that purpose, especially like recent too. Gosh, it was brought up last week. I read about that.
As it states now, in our agenda, we had a second reading of the TNR bill. In order to deviate that, we would have to first have a motion not to read and to send to committee for the council table. Motion to read the bill.
I'll make a motion not to read and send it to the committee.
For that committee, we have a motion to not have the second reading of the TNR bill and to send it to a committee. That committee will be formed for the council. Will be a member of the council as the chair, Lieutenant Franklin, and a member of the public.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. We have a second. And
That's second.
we do have a second. Let's go ahead with a roll call vote.
If you hit the button, roll call vote.
Ed?
Betty Tilges,
Yes.
Paul Watson,
Yes.
Wayne Brandon.
Yes.
4-0 passes.
Okay. I'll be getting with individual council members to assign committee chair, and they will be taking the vote with it from there. They will also solicit the public input from there. Moving on, the next thing on the agenda is the update for the library. As you all know, we have significant problems with our library system. We do have asbestos in the flooring, in the tile flooring. anytime a municipality chooses to do work like that, there are specific guidelines that we have to follow. And it's a very it's going to cost quite a bit of money to do that. Just for the removal of and that's talking just for the removal of the building, or the removal of the asbestos. That does not address the substructure of the floor or the potential termite damage. One of the things that I've done recently with the help of some very interested citizens is I met with the Department of Agriculture, specifically getting grant money to relocate the library potentially, and to not only have just a library of books and a few computers, but to turn it into a media center where it addresses not only the persons that want to read a traditional book, but those that have e-readers and want to read books on their phones, so to speak. It'll give them those options. So we're exploring that. I believe Mr. Fleming has already sent them the paperwork that they need to get us started in the grant process. Now, with that being said, the library will stay in town. If we are not 100% sold on moving it, we have to take a look at cost. Is it going to be more cost effective for us to fix the building, or is it going to be more cost effective to move it? We've got two options there. And then if we move it, what do we do with those? Those are things that we'll address. So that's where we sit at right now. Now the internet is still active, so if you still use the internet, you can still go up there, you can still access the Wi-Fi. So that service is still being provided at this time. That's all the updates that I have for the library. Next item on the agenda is the Citizens Committee for Shepherd Park. As anybody that knows me knows that I'm very passionate about youth programs. I'm also passionate about Dixon. Shepherd Park and our youth go hand in hand. There are several things that have to happen. One of the issues that we have with Shepherd Park is we need to make it accessible to all of its citizens, not just able-bodied. And that is what I've challenged this committee to come up with. They have developed a plan. They're here to present the plan. Is that correct, Mr. Spurgeon? At this point, I'm going to turn this over to Elijah Spurgeon. And let you go from there. Elijah, the floor is yours.
How's everybody? So my name's Elijah, and I come to the city council about 8 months ago or so, and just to see if they were interested in developing a new plan for the city of Dixon. So we worked together with the citizen task forces and some small committees and meetings, and we came up with a sort of plan, and from there we moved forward, and I knew that Mayor Wellington was really interested in getting something together for Shepherd Park, which is a soccer fields park, and for most of you should be familiar with it. So that's kind of our starting point for a plan. I'm going to sit down so I can see my notes, but well, back to the start. Here we go. So it's a community improvement project, and it's an asset-focused plan to restore a community through thoughtful design and strategic resource expenditures. We started here with the city plan, the citywide plan, and it addresses parks and green spaces, the schools, the elementary, middle school, and high school, downtown area, and the highways, which are labeled in, they're the red lines through. So are you guys tracking on this map here? You can see the highways and schools and kind of know what's going on. And then one of the ideas was to create a safe connections between these schools. So we know that the sidewalks are not all up to par in town. There's not always the best route for students to travel to and from school, those who walk in the neighborhood. The idea here was to focus towards the most strategic points to connect these schools and downtown area, as well as many other town assets. So we started out, and what we gained from this really is an integrated park system as the plan has grown from Shepherd Park. So we have this Shepherd Park Field and Stream project, which is kind of a conservation plan for the park, doing some kind of native and natural species of plants, animals, create natural habitat there, cut back on the amount of resource expenditures on the city. So be able to cut back on mowing, be able to cut back on all the different expenditures that are just, you never get rid of the mowing. But what we can do is switch over to native species of plants, create kind of a natural environment there, focus on the things that matter. So a trail system, the soccer fields, they have the basketball courts, the volleyball courts, those things that people actually use. And then this also goes into the middle school green connection. So there's green space out behind the middle school that can be used as a place for students to go and enjoy and walk through. And science classes could go out there. And then we have the high school ecology park, which is this area. There's that field. It's the first thing people see whenever they come to Dixon. And currently we just mow it. Sometimes kids will get out there and play ball or whatever, but generally it's just a mowed field. So the idea there is to kind of create something there that people can actually use and enjoy and want to look at. And it's also kind of a gateway to Dixon. You know, you go under that bridge and on the left and on the right, it's the first thing you see coming 28. So kind of focusing our attention to making that something a little bit more presentable, make it something that people want to see, kind of create a habitat there. And then we have the Veterans Memorial Conservation Walk, which is just the other side of the street. But there's a VFW's working towards American Legion's working towards a memorial park there. So that would be part of this, that would work into this plan as well. And then a clean streams and conservation program. So kind of cleaning up the streams that run through town. That helps clean our water resources and kind of creates a more aesthetically pleasing environment. And this map kind of shows how this all connects. So this is our integrated park system, if you will. The idea is to kind of create a place where there's a park close to everybody's home in Dixon. So no matter where you are in town, you can be close to a trail to a park, or even just a nature walk, something like that. And this right here kind of pulls out this just a pedestrian link so we can just focus our resources towards the most positive change, be able to connect these schools, get these kids safe to and from school. And not only that, but it creates a walkable loop for just everybody in the community. It's something where people would kind of share that link and you'd run into other people and kind of mark it so people can know how far they've walked and they can get out and they have a nice, safe, walkable route to basically within proximity of anywhere in town. And this is more about just connecting these community assets. So connecting the recreation, the baseball fields, the soccer field, the elementary school, middle school, Oak Hills Country Club even can be connected through a green passage behind the school.
Right.
And of course,
There be lights on the trails between the parks. Are you looking at lighting that area, those areas along the trails?
not right away, I wouldn't think. Eventually, I'd say it'd be a complete streetscape plan, but resources would have to present themselves before we can really say yes on that. It is part of the plan to do lighting at the ballpark, so lighting around the football field, so we could do night games. Sure. And not only that, but events as well. But so the idea here is really kind of create a good connection between all these neighborhoods in town, all these places, and these are really the places that people visit whenever they come to Dixon. So when people see Dixon, these are the things they're going to see. They're going to see, they go to high school for the baseball field. They go to the recreation area for the baseball field or the soccer fields. They see the middle school. They see the basketball courts. They see, well, ideally they see downtown as well. But this is a way to really, with the minimal resources, really be able to touch on all these points and really kind of expound Dixon as a place that people want to be. So that's why I kind of pulled up these main points. So this is the highway. This is where people travel through Dixon. This is places where people go for sporting events or take their kids to school. And then this is just kind of this is just showing our process. This is how we got to this point. We did an aerial analysis and it's a conceptual plan. We did citizen charrettes, which is basically just a meeting of citizens who were interested in this. There was a bunch of people from Chamber of Commerce and the soccer program and American Legion who all want to contribute to a plan and see something positive happen in Dixon. And then we have this community outreach and concept reveal. And this was just a one-time thing. We presented the plan at Cowdays. We just set up a little booth right next to the Chamber of Commerce booth, and people came through, and it was great to see everybody excited because they were just thrilled. They just loved the idea of really making something happen here in town. And then we did our site visit and analysis survey, and then Sergeant Stephen, or Sean Stevens, thank you. They're running that survey for the park, so we have the surveying school at the port, an instructor from the school using the soccer fields now as basically a study point for us, but then they get to turn over that survey to us, so we can have all that topographic information. We can plug it into the GIS and really make my life a lot easier. And then here we are now. And what we have been doing is trying to organize the residents, organize the stakeholders, get everybody on the same page, and get the city governance involved as well. And that brings us to Shepherd Park. So that's the main focus. So from that, we decided Shepherd Park is the place to start. So here it is. This is Shepherd Park. The creeks meet there. It's a low-lying area, which is pretty typical of the park. Often, we'll convert our low-lying areas, our floodplains, into our city parks. And it makes sense because it's undevelopable. It's kind of pretty landscapes generally. Floodplains are flat. And it's otherwise unusable space. So the idea here is create a trail network through the park. Restructure the parking just to make it a little bit more efficient and streamlined. Install event lighting for the football field so we could night games, and then of course we could do any kind of events, maybe even like small shows and even a graduation or something like that could be done there. And then we have a stream restoration project, which is basically just cleaning up and doing some erosion mitigation with basically just strengthening the side of the creek. Place entry bollards at each gate so that bicycles and pedestrians can pass, the cars can't after a certain time. And have security measures, which would largely be monitoring by the City of Dixon Police, neighborhood watch, and then some cameras. And then improve the fields and courts, so the tennis and basketball courts, and then soccer fields and everything. And then a conservation program kind of throughout the whole park. And a conservation program would entail environmental education. So that'd be kind of signs and things that kind of explain the habitat. So we want the elementary kids to be able to use this park as kind of their laboratory, if you will, or even the middle school or whoever, to be able to come in here and study plants and animals and study a natural habitat, but in a place that's not so wild. And we want to make sure there's erosion mitigation. We would like to see a Dixon Youth Recreation Area from Shepherd Park. There's already a system of trails that run through there out of necessity, out of kids running through there. It would be nice to see that annexed possibly, or at least some kind of cooperation to where we could have an easement to where people could use that as a trail. We want to do sustainable design throughout the project. Prairie and woodland restoration areas throughout the project too. And that cuts back on mowing. and it kind of creates that kind of natural beauty there. And this kind of just breaks down the plan. So we have our park-wide conservation program, a trail network throughout the park. We want to restructure the parking, enact security measures, place entry bollards at each gate. We finish the tennis and basketball courts, do our maintenance on the sand volleyball courts that are already built there, improve the field conditions, and install event lighting. So we already have a lot of human resources here in town. A lot of people who fill a lot of these roles are already involved in this project in some way. Not only that, but there's a lot of people that know live in this town that could fill these roles, and hopefully a lot of them would be willing to fill these roles. And these are planners, engineers, ecologists, logisticians, builders, equipment operators. We have the media and press to help kind of share the message. Business people, administration, law enforcement, public servants, attorneys, ministers, homeowners, community leaders, conservationists, and potentially investors. And then our physical resources sources, we actually have access to heavy equipment, farming equipment, mulch and timbers. We have a line on mulch and timbers free. Native plants and seeds through Missouri Department of Conservation, Missouri Prairie Foundation. I've actually been collecting myself for a while. I've been involved in native plants. I believe in it. It's a good way to go here and use your native plants. You don't have to water them as much. They don't die on you. It's pretty. It looks nice, you know. So I'm a firm believer, and I think God did it right whenever He put it where He put it. And then we have, what am I missing here? Okay, so, and then we can get access to labor and volunteers, so people who are willing to just donate their time to kind of help out. Things that we need sand and gravel, riprap, rubble, trees, saplings, directories, signage. And actually, I think it's a great idea for the Industrial Arts Department to be involved in this and have them come together and build these directories, build these signs and benches and walking bridges, those types of things. And of course, we'll need building materials. And there's other things we can get by actually having a plant. We open ourselves up to a lot of grant money, donations. We have public monies that we open ourselves up to, state money, and then potential investors. Not so much in Shepherd Park, more in the rest of the plant. And then the park program incentives, really, so we promote public health, we promote the natural beauty of the place. It's a positive economic impact for everybody. Stronger communities, increased conservation, we improve youth athletics, attract new residents, we increase the social interactions of the people here, manage our stormwater runoff, which I know is a struggle for any town. We just have new sewer systems that we must not promote it. And then actually, parks have the other reducing so community engagement. So we want to continue to build our advisory community, grow our task force. We want to be able to create a dialogue between the representatives, the community leaders, city officials, stakeholders, all of our residents, everybody. Something that everybody wants to be involved. The more the merrier really is the case. And I think that the more people that know about this plan and these ideas, the more people are going to enjoy these new assets, the more people are going to get involved with each other and really kind of see some things happen for this community. Then we want to organize and form smaller interest groups so people can actually have a more focused, be involved in something that's more of their interest. So not everybody's interested in every part of this plan, but we would like to see groups come together. Some people are interested in gardening. Some people are interested in building. Some people would like to see a trail system happen. Some people are worried about their kids' soccer. So we would like to see groups kind of build around that. So the people who are really most interested in this specific plan can be involved in that specific portion. And then we want to hold community-wide volunteer events regularly. So this is something that's going to continue to happen. Ideally, we can do something every month through the summer, and continue to get people together to take on this different project. And then the community engagement organization, or we need to see a task force. We need to see our task force move forward in researching and applying for grants, programs, and benefits for which the city or community development then the plan should be finalized, discussed, and then after approval, be adopted as a in closing, the city of Dixon operates on limited resources and on limited budget. Success of this plan will require insightful solutions, creative problem solving, resourcefulness, as well as what we gain, however, far outweighs the costs associated with the implementation of the plan. What we gain is a regional asset and a restored sense of community in and around Dixon. We hope to attract new residents and a decreased tax base and have the opportunity to live in a town reflective of the values of the people who live here. Thank you all for listening to me and hearing me out. I want to thank the City of Dixon, City Council, Mayor Wellington for having us here. I appreciate that. Dixon Chamber of Commerce, is there any representatives here? They helped a lot in this plan. And they're ready to move forward with it. We just got to say the word. And then we've got our resident advisory committee and task force. Thank you all. Appreciate it. And then Life Designs, Plan Design Build, we're putting this plan together.
This is part of that question.
Yeah, sure.
What is the time trajectory for this?
5 years, I figure.
5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it really depends on the resources. Shepherd Park would be enacted in a year, but we won't see it really built for 3 years. It's going to take a long time for these plants to establish. It's going to take a long time for this kind of natural environment. First, it will run for a while before those new sprouts start coming through, really start blooming and looking good. And it'll take a while for all our walking bridges and our trails to be park path. But I think 3 years is more than feasible for the Shepherd Park for it, as well as the high school. The sidewalk plan, that depends on funding.
That would be my next question.
There is grant money.
Okay, above and beyond the grant money, donations, volunteers.
Sure, absolutely.
Etc.
Anything that we can get together, hopefully the city can allow resources. There is a
What would
program.
you project to be the overall cost?
Overall cost of the whole plan, well, again, that depends on how. Now the sidewalk plan, that's $60,000 for that sidewalk. There are safe routes to school grants in the state of Missouri, though. A lot of small towns around here have been picking up on it lately, and I think we're more than eligible. One of the main things that you have to have in the plan. That makes us eligible for those types of grants. I think that would be the number one thing, is to start applying for the grants that we can now. See some money coming in, start seeing the return on our investment, and then that opens us up for more resources to come in. A lot of it's volunteer hours.
One of the other things that we'll have to address in the planning aspect of this, specifically as it relates to sidewalks. Currently, our ordinances state that sidewalk maintenance is the responsibility of the homeowner versus the city. Now, there have been other communities that have used their right-of-way to install sidewalks. I believe the city of Rolla did it recently, and redid their sidewalks. So that's something that we would have to look into as well. Elijah, I want to thank you for taking the time to come all the way from Kansas City to share this with us. It looks like a fantastic plan. Thank you. Thank the members of the community that have helped with this, kind of put this plan together. And I can't wait to see how it looks the next time you're able to come.
Thanks for that.
Next item we have on the agenda, which is Board of Standing Committees. We have a big truck ordinance committee. Woman Tillis, do you have any updates for us on that right now?
No, not really. I haven't had any complaints.
Okay.
So we need to have a meeting probably the third Thursday of this month, that everyone can come to it.
Okay. So it'll be the third Thursday, which is,
I'd like to get an ordinance on that, we need to discuss that.
or,
City Hall.
And those meetings are open to the public.
If that's good too, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, third Thursday of this month at the Dixon City Hall,
What time?
6 p.m. Okay, go ahead.
Have you got a phone number, someone, citizens, if they want to know more about
Oh,
this?
sure, yeah. I could pass out my card. Robert has my number. I'll share with anybody who's interested. I'll be
I
around.
might leave a couple cards up here by the mayor,
I'll have to go grab them.
just in case someone's got some questions.
Yeah, we'll do.
You would like one also.
I'll get one.
Wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Silvers. The next item on the agenda, we have a nomination of alderman. With that, I went through an extensive search for aldermen. The people that I spoke with in great length, as they can attest to. I also solicited advice from various council members. I have, initially, I had reported one vacancy that will be filled tonight. Through some discussions that I had just prior to this meeting, I have the nomination for the second one as well. So, at this point, my nomination is for the Ward 1, Ward 2. Jimmy Doyle. Mr. Doyle has a earnest interest into the betterment of the city. He demonstrated that by not only filing for election, he campaigned. He loves coming on the road. And with that, I believe that the will of the people have spoken in this. And I believe that Mr. Doyle would be an appropriate successor to Mr. Whitman to fill this seat. The second person is Mrs. Marilyn Timmons. Mrs. Timmons has shown that throughout her work with the council before, that she has worked very tirelessly to represent her constituents well. This past month, Marilyn had stepped down strictly due to her health reasons. She told me a little bit earlier this evening, she has got a clean bill of health, and she's ready to commit it to the city and to commit it to the citizens to finish out and do the work that she has started, and I welcome her. With both of these nominations, it will take a motion to either approve or disapprove for each one, and a roll call vote individually. The first one is Mr. Doyle.
Any motion to nominate?
For a motion to approve the nomination or to disapprove.
I'll make the motion to approve. I'll second
We have a motion to approve. Councilman Watson, seconded by Councilman Bray. Mr. Fleming, another roll call vote.
If you Hickenbotham,
it.
Betty Tilges,
Yes.
Paul Watson,
Yes.
Wayne Brett.
Yes.
That's on Jimmy Doyle.
Here, just a few minutes, and that's where you went. The second one, Mrs. Marilyn Timmons.
Would like to make a nomination for Mrs. Marilyn Timmons.
We have a nomination where we have a motion to approve Mrs. Marilyn Timmons by Mrs. Stilgis,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilman Watson. Roll call vote.
If you Hickenbotham, Betty Tilges?
Yes.
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 Paul Watson?
Yes.
Wayne Brett?
Yes.
That's 4-0.
Mrs. Simmons. I'd like to have Mrs. Timmons and Mr. Doyle, both council members, up here. Mr. Fleming will conduct the oath of office.
Right, fully read I state your name. You solemnly swear. I will support the Constitution of the United States,
That I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
the ordinances of the City of Dixon,
the ordinances of the City of Dixon,
that I will meet all requirements
that I will meet all requirements
to serve in the office as prescribed in the Missouri State Statutes.
to serve in the office as prescribed according to the Missouri State
Missouri State
Statutes.
Statutes. And I will faithfully
And I will faithfully
demean myself in the office
demean myself in the office
of Alderman/Alderwoman,
of Alderman,
for which I was appointed on 2nd May 2016.
which I was appointed on the 6th of May of 2016.
We'll be right between Betty and Johnny.
We will invite the Alderman to take a seat.
Congratulations, Mrs. Timmons.
Now that we have the full city council, the next item is the board of aldermen is to select the president of the board, commonly referred to as a mayor pro tem. Our ordinance is under section 110.030 state that the board shall elect one of their own number who shall be styled acting president of the board of aldermen and who shall serve for a term of 1 year. This person will act as the mayor pro tem, will also have the duties of my office should I become incapacitated or ineligible to continue to serve. With that, we do have to have nominations from the 6 of you, and then vote for it from there.
Well, I'm gonna step up to play here. We got 2 acting aldermen here. I'm gonna nominate Betty. She's readily available here in town. I think that's good. If she'll accept it.
Do you accept?
Yes, I will.
We have a nomination from Councilman Watson, second from Councilman Brandt, for Alderwoman Betty Childers to be the mayor pro tem and president of the board of aldermen. Conduct a roll call vote.
Effie Hickman. Betty Tilges. Marilyn Timmons. Jimmy Doyle.
Yes.
Paul Watson.
Yes.
Wayne Brett.
Yes.
As a 5-0, sir.
Mrs. Tilges, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I've spoken to Councilman Watson. We have various issues that are going on in Dixon all at the same time. With that, we need to have a vehicle or an avenue that issues can be addressed in a timely manner without overburdening either the city clerk or the city collector or the maintenance department. That's why I'm forming this committee. Councilman Watson has agreed to chair this committee. Councilman Doyle will also be on this committee, as well as Lieutenant Brakel and Mr. Forthman. This committee will meet at a time each month that is chosen by Mr. Watson, and you have a date in
I
mind.
think it'll be the day after the regular meeting,
Okay.
regular council meeting, 6 o'clock,
City Hall.
City Hall.
Okay. These meetings will be the day after the regular scheduled city council meeting. They will address concerns of water bills, issues that are going on that pertain to sewer and water and streets. At the point that committee hears those complaints or seeks or somebody that needs a resolution to a matter, that committee will then bring it to the city council meeting at the next regularly scheduled meeting under those committees with a recommendation to the approval of corporate action. These meetings are open to the public. They will have some contact with the same rules still apply. We still have to post the meetings to get to be adequate with the sunshine law. So we will continue to do so on that. So, Councilman, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the Dangerous Animal Committee. When we have an animal that bites somebody or tears up somebody's property, this, that, or the other, it is the responsibility of the police department to secure the animal and place it in under a 10-day hold. Is that correct, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir.
With that, we have to have a committee to where the owner of that animal can petition to the city reasons for or against having the animal terminated. And that committee will determine whether or not that particular animal under these particular circumstances is a danger to the public. This committee is also required by city ordinance. So in fulfillment of my duties, that's why I am putting this committee together. This committee will be Lieutenant Brackman, as per the ordinance, a council member, and Mr. Israel Nova. Israel has an extensive amount of knowledge of bigger sized dogs. He's able to bring the temperament and his expertise to that. I think he's going to do a wonderful job. The council member, I will assign that at a later date. Now I will stress that this committee will only need to meet should there be an issue with an animal biting or something to that extent. These appointments are for a 2-year appointment according to our city ordinance. And that is That's all we have on that one. The national chairperson, we've already covered that. Police report. Lieutenant Brinkle, please step forward.
I apologize, I do not have a printed police report for you. There is some recent crime records. We recently had a vehicle done stolen from the postal service. Due to some quick actions of the officer, we were able to secure some items in the vehicle and obtain DNA samples, and we were able to get 3 suspects and obtain those records, and recover the vehicle. Most recently, I'd like to speak about the bleeding edge. We've had some issues with some vandalism and a large amount of copper stolen, approximately $25,000. We've met with Gas Station Electric. These thefts were these are not just a random local person that's scrapping about. This was a very advanced situation, very targeted, and they had to have very sophisticated equipment in order to cut from the transformers without shutting down the power grid. We currently have recovered some items that we are sending to the crime lab. Hoping to get some leads on this. However, we are not positive that the vandalism and the electric are tied in together as well. Having stated that, I spoke to the mayor recently. Due to a previous resignation of an officer, and then I've just recently placed one in administrative leave, we are down to 3 police officers, which is, right now, doing the math, we are 56 hours every 2 weeks short of covering the road. That's 112 hours a month, just at bare minimum, which is costing me approximately between $2,500 and $3,000 a month in overtime. So what I'm requesting tonight is that the council give us authorization to start conducting some interviews and replacing these 2 officers with the need to be able and decide things. Other than that, that's not all I have. We did one other thing. I just recently delivered 16 cases to the crime lab on felony drug cases. I have 12 more since the 3 weeks since I went to the crime lab. We have 12 more cases ready to go. So we are working very diligently cleaning up the streets of the community, and I think it's starting to get out.
Thank you for the dedicated development. Quite a lot. I will say the overtime issue is by somebody working, they work 12-hour shifts. We're still coming in on their days off. However, prior to us getting this number, seconded by Councilman Grant. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Against? This passes 6-2. This meeting, go ahead and start the solicitation for application. So, we have posted for the village. We're hoping that we will provide a recommendation to the board. As soon as we have all the candidates, we need a special session of the city council and personnel matters. We review those and either hire or reject the application. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, city engineer report, Mr. John Doyle.
First of this, board business, the sewer resources, the country club, Davis Drive, that should have definitely, I think we will personally contact each individual, tell them their reason is at City Hall. To sign it in front of a notary. Jesse is a notary, that's why we need the easement at City Hall. If it's a situation where they need us to bring it to them, that's fine as well. He has done that in the past. So once we obtain those easements, I know there was some camera work on that line. I'm not sure how that's turned out. I've not seen it, or it's going to be. I'm not sure if it's even complete.
It is complete.
It is complete, okay. We're able to upon recording of those documents, we will be able to correct anything that camera work might show. I need to review that as well. It's a temporary fix to a longer-term project, but it's a needed Band-Aid at this time to complete the project. And the project is scheduled for next year, next fiscal year. So, but nonetheless, we need to put in new pipe. Have you seen it?
I've not seen the video yet, no.
So that's some old business to bring you up to date with that. Probably this week we'll have easements in there.
For those of you all that don't know, John and I identified some streets a while back, actually a few nights ago. John, are you prepared to speak on those?
He was looking at additional streets to possibly be paved in the street paving project currently ongoing in the city of Dixon this year. We looked at, we are currently complete with phase 2 of that project, okay? And you notice that they're not working. I'm hearing all kinds of rumors. We're not working because school's still going on, okay? The phase 3 is really focuses in and around the schools. And I don't want to get tied up in school traffic, create any type of new driving conditions for young drivers at the end of school. We're going to keep it the same until school gets out, and we're going to come in and phase 3 and go through that. So whatever you hear.
I will say that this is entirely to the credit of Mr. Dole, our maintenance department, and Willard Asphalt. We are about 6 months ahead of schedule on this. We were not looking for completion until the November timeframe.
Right, that's something for sure. And a lot of it has to do with the people as well. The residents of the town have been great to work with. We've not had a lot of street parking during the time that we were working on those streets, so the vehicles that are generally bound on that street, they've managed to get in the driveway, so when we lined up on the street, we were able to go. There was no hesitation, and that's credit to the citizens of the community. Making our job much easier. That is as well, brag on Rob Forthman. He put door
I do want to recognize Mr. Quentin Davis. Quentin, we had a stopping point. We had a vehicle that was on the roadway. The folks were out of town. Quentin volunteered his services. And he got with the owner. He said, hey, I'm going to move your vehicle into your driveway. And did that for us. And he didn't charge the city. He contributed that to the betterment of our town. So Mr. Davis, thank you for that. He's
It's really been a community project. Everybody's worked with each other. Obviously, there were concerns immediately on the asphalt shoulders, which it's a staged, but it's a staged process where the shoulder machine is the last machine coming out the street. So we're able to put those shoulders on. It isn't the way process, but it did come true finally. Some additional streets, I'm a little reluctant to name them, but we are looking at streets in all wards, okay? One particular location is at the cemetery, the Dixon City Cemetery. The main street that runs from 28 by Dayton's out to the cemetery, that's Chestnut. And I gave a intersection of Chestnut and Oak Street. That's where we were to pay. And there was no real design was by that. It was just an intersection. It was a location. And we probably left in the neighborhood of 100 feet, 200 feet to the gate of the cemetery. So we're looking at time in with our project to complete that out to the cemetery of Oak Street.
And this part of the version, John, but these are going to be done via change orders where we will not be needing to solicit new bids.
Correct.
It'll be a change order of the existing bid, of the existing awarded bid, adding to the current project.
That's right. Another street we was looking at was maybe Shepherd Park area. We went from, I think that's Pine Street. We went basically right at Alexander Hills, what I call it. We stopped right there. Like I said, no strategic reason. That was just a intersection that we used in our bid to pay to and through. Now we're looking at possibly extending to the north to Shepherd Park and going down the hill to the soccer field in Shepherd Park. That's an area that we're looking at. Beach Street's an area we're looking at. Beach Street is on the south east part of town. It's off of South Pearl, which was paved. It's the area where we put the new water line in prior to paving the streets. We laid out a few other roads as well. I drove a lot of roads.
And we've actually, we're brainstorming not only a continuation of this project, but how do we address it in 2017, 2018, and 2019? Which streets to address where we can systematically improve the road conditions throughout town and not let them get to a point of disrepair where the councils will stay informed and the citizens will have a voice in this too. So I would encourage any citizen to contact the representatives that are up here and let them know if your street needs repair. Because that is the vehicle of your voice. You have voted these 6 people up here as your representatives. Please utilize them with every opportunity.
As we continue with this street project, this is a 5 to 10 year project. Okay, this is a plan. We don't want to just put out the streets that we got and give up. This impossible for any website go out and pay 95% of your streets in a single year. We would like to phase these streets in over a 5 to probably 7 year period, where we do maybe 10 or 15% next year, and 10 or 15% next year. Then as the streets wear, they all are going to wear different depending on traffic type, use, volume. Some of these streets will be wear very well. There's not a lot of traffic on them. Slowing traffic. As others, okay. So the idea behind it is as you phase these streets in, at the end of that 5 to 7 years, you jump right back to square one. Let's reassess the street. Let's not stop at 7 years. Let's continue to utilize the street program the way it needs to be. And not saying that phase one here, you need to jump on those streets, because a lot of phase one streets probably will wear very well, because they are, I would say, just as local traffic on those, and some of them. You may skip over those and jump to something that has got a lot more traffic, maybe didn't wear as good, or had, maybe a water leak where we had to dig up, some places like that. So to continue to address this as time goes on, we need to keep the plan and continue to modify the plan as you see the streets wearing. So that's going to be a hard job, but every year the budget should be addressed. We have currently addressed a north-south street and an east-west street in the first year. The major north-south street that we have ran will be Elliott Street. The major east-west street is Fifth Street. Okay. We took Fifth Street from 28 to Sea Highway, and we took Elliott from 28 to Country Club. And people are driving. They're actually driving around their road to drive on those roads.
With that, I would encourage everybody to be mindful of the speed limit. With the new road, it's easy to put a lead foot. I'm sure Lieutenant Franklin would echo those comments. Please be mindful, especially in residential areas, of your speed. John, you got anything else for us?
Includes my updates.
John, thank you. Thank you very much.
Ms. Higginbotham has a question.
Okay. Yes.
How about Miss Grove's water line she complained to me about? Have you been to see about it?
Yes, I'm familiar with your water.
However, I'll have to let you guys talk off topic because it's not on the agenda. I don't want us to get into a sunshine law violation or sunshine policy, right? Excuse me, Mrs. Higginbotham. I need to interject in this matter. But right after adjournment, you two are more than happy. Okay, we can discuss it from there. Okay, the next item on the agenda is adjournment. As we do not have anything else on the agenda. At this point, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Watson has made a motion for adjournment. We have a second. Second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. At 7:14, meeting of the Dixon City Council stands adjourned.